It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends and ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to jump in that gigantic, sharp, interactive board. I want to share my thoughts regarding Fujifilm's first 9 months for FY 2024. Congratulations, Fujifilm. You broke some records. Of course, revenue records. A lot of that's being impacted by the Forex. But Fujifilm always delivers operating profit. Congratulations, Fujifilm. Not one of their divisions lost money through the 9 months of FY 2024. That's pretty remarkable when you consider what's going on in the industry. But the industry is going through some turmoil. It's going through consolidation, disruption. Last week I shared the episode regarding Canon. You got Canon, the largest manufacturer of small printers in the world, considering outsourcing the manufacturing of the printers when they own the market share. If that doesn't describe, well, disruption, nothing will. If that doesn't warn you all that all the major players are going to be looking at things so much differently, nothing will. Today I want to dedicate this episode to both Fujifilm and Xerox. We know that Fujifilm and Xerox had a great relationship. We also know that Fujifilm and Xerox had some turmoil in that relationship. Most would say today that that relationship's a little bit rocky. Fujifilm and Xerox, pay attention to today's episode. Consider it an intervention. At the end of today's episode, I want to discuss some thoughts around Kodak. Kodak, the small player in the graphics communication or industrial print sector, who's trying to do things to upset the cookie cart, if you will, with their friends at Fujifilm by using the courts and the ITC. I did an episode on that. I find it just so insane that Kodak, who is so tied to China, is actually calling Fujifilm out for bringing plates in from China. It's just kind of nuts. I'm not a Chinese Communist Party fan by any stretch of the imagination. But Kodak, give me a break. And I want to share some thoughts with you on that. So without any further ado, let's start out with the top line revenue for Fujifilm for the first 9 months is $15.4 billion. Had an operating profit of 9.6% or $1.5 billion. Congratulations, Fuji. Good numbers, good strong performance for the first 9 months. Every single division, none of them lost any money. You ready for this, ladies and gentlemen? The healthcare business, $4.7 billion top line revenue, operating profit of 4.6%. Electronics business unit, $2.2 billion in revenue, operating profit 18.1%. Business innovation, that's where the print sector lives, $5.7 billion top line revenue, operating profit of 5%. Imaging, the camera business, $2.8 billion top line revenue for 9 months, operating profit, get ready folks, 27%. Amazing. Amazing. It totals them out at $1.5 billion in operating profit for the whole company, and that's that 9.6%. Again, not one division is in the red. Not one. Congratulations, Fuji. I wanted to look at their asset to equity ratio, and I also wanted to look at their goodwill as a percentage of their assets. Fujifilm's asset to equity ratio is 65%, meaning 35% of their assets are encumbered. There's nothing really wrong with that. There is a problem here, though. Their total assets are $34.4 billion, and their goodwill percentage of that is $6.5 billion or 19%. It's too high. Sooner or later, just like I said, what happened with Canon, Fujifilm will have to make some kind of an adjustment around their assets to fall in line more with reality. We'll see how that pans out. I wanted to look at the revenue per geographic area, and this is the important part that I want Xerox to pay attention to, and I want Fujifilm to pay attention to. So for the first 9 months, Fujifilm as a whole company did $15.4 billion. They're saying in the Japanese marketplace, they did $5.1 billion or 32.9%. They're saying in the Americas marketplace, they did $3.2 billion or 20.9%. I want to stop there, and I want to reiterate those numbers. So in the Americas, Fujifilm generated 20.9% of its revenue, $3.2 billion. I'm going to go through the rest of this in other episodes, but I want to focus right now in the Americas and the revenue going to Fuji from Americas, which is $3.2 billion or 20.9% of their revenue. And I want to apply that 20.9% to the business innovation unit to see what they're doing in the print sector in Americas. And as long as that 20.9% holds true with all their divisions, and it probably does, it's probably pretty close, it'll give us kind of a pretty good indication of the revenue coming out of Americas to Fuji. The Business Solutions unit, that's their IT services space. The Office Solutions, that's the MFP space. And the Graphic Communications, that's their industrial print space. If you take the total numbers of each one of those different divisions within business innovation, and then you pull out 20.9%, here are those numbers. Business Solutions, over 9 months, $313.5 million. Office Solutions, over 9 months, $522.5 million. And Graphic Communications, over 9 months, $355.3 million. Let's focus on Office Solutions, which is the MFP business. So if Americas is giving Fujifilm 20.9% of its revenue, and that number holds true for Office Solutions, that means Fujifilm is collecting $522.5 million over the last 9 months around MFP business in the U.S. And I want to circle that number. And let's forget about the IT stuff. Let's forget about the graphics communication stuff for right now. And focus just on the Office Solutions. And now, I want to show this slide. And you can see the Xerox logo there. You can see up here I got that $522.5 million. Office Solutions, MFPs. And I got this little arrow going down here. And it's pointing to where? Xerox. And I would have to ask Fujifilm, what percentage of that $522.5 million is Xerox giving you? And I'm going to venture to say it's a pretty big percentage. I'm going to probably say that Xerox is your largest customer in America, so I think that's pretty common knowledge. We also know that Xerox just made an announcement that they're buying Lexmark. That made Xerox more powerful, and I told you all that when I did the episode regarding Xerox buying Lexmark. And here's the deal. Xerox just picked up a myth. A myth of machines in the field, right? Machines in the field. A whole bunch of Lexmarks in the field globally. Let's focus on the machines that are here in America. Do you think Fujifilm would be excited to replace all those machines with Fujifilm machines one day? Because I'm hoping. I'm hoping like hell that right after Xerox buys Lexmark, they change the name to Xerox and don't even talk about Lexmark. And every machine that goes into the marketplace has a Xerox name on it. That's what I'm hoping. And I'm hoping that Xerox isn't a manufacturer. I'm hoping they bought the myth and that's it. It'll be so exciting. But then again, Fujifilm, if you don't figure out how to form a relationship that's a little bit tighter with Xerox, I'm thinking some of the other players will. Because when they look at Xerox and they look at the footprint of the largest dealer in the world, they look at that dealer just buying Lexmark, getting even bigger. You can like Xerox or you can hate Xerox, but you can't deny the fact that that's a big deal. When they bought Lexmark, it makes them pretty damn powerful as a negotiator to OEMs, am I thinking. Now I want to ask Fujifilm another question. When you look across America and you look at partners, I talked a while back that maybe Fujifilm should get to Sharp and make all the Sharp machines. I think that still would be a home run for Fujifilm. We got to have consolidation of manufacturing, and maybe Sharp should just let Fujifilm make all their machines. We already see them making the high-end stuff for them. I think that's a real possibility, right? What kind of mega dealers is Fujifilm going to partner with? We all saw the big press release where Fujifilm announced that they were partnering with Marco. Well, I did an episode not too long ago. I'm thinking Marco's going to sell the decks. I mean, I could be wrong, but Marco's definitely going to sell sooner or later, right? We've been saying that for a while now. If Dex Imaging buys Marco, how does that work for Fujifilm? Because I believe if Dex Imaging buys Marco, they're probably going to have HP in there with them doing it. So many changes. It's like playing chess. These OEMs got to figure out how to play chess because it's going to get tricky. But everything going forward has to be about strategy. Nothing going forward should be based on emotional nonsense or relationships that are soured over silliness that happened years ago. Everything that happens in the industry has to be based on strategy from this point forward. the industry's going to change in ways that most of you all can't even imagine. Unless, of course, you watch The End of the Day with Ray. I'll share my imagination with you. But I believe that Fujifilm has a great opportunity. I believe that Xerox has a great opportunity to rekindle a relationship with their OEM, a company called Fujifilm. I believe that folks like Kyocera have a great opportunity to bring inkjet technology and share that technology with some of these laser folks going down the road. So many changes coming. But none of it will be based on the way things used to be. It'll only be based on the way things should be. Now I want to share some thoughts regarding Kodak. You know, Kodak filed that lawsuit with ITC. They won that lawsuit. And supposedly that was going to put Fujifilm out of business. That's what Kodak was thinking. Bunch of crazy people. And we just saw their numbers. It didn't hurt them so far, Kodak. But I'm thinking about Kodak. They're a lemonade stand. Let's be honest about this. And Fujifilm is this multi-story mall. Okay? And folks, I wanted to do some numbers. I took Kodak's revenue for 9 months, which ended September of 2024. Their total revenue for the company was $776 million. Net operating profit is $17 million or 2%. Seriously, it's a lemonade stand. Now let's look at Fujifilm. The total company is $15.4 billion. That's 20 times bigger than Kodak. But you know what? It doesn't matter what your revenue is. It matters how much money you actually make. What's your operating profit? Fujifilm's operating profit for their first 9 months is $1.5 billion. That's 88 times that of Kodak. Seriously. Kodak. It's 88 times. They're 88 times more profitable than you in a dollar amount number. I think it's time that the unrealistic optimism at Kodak got put aside. Unrealistic optimism is terrible. And ladies and gentlemen, I've talked about this off and on over the years. But there's folks in our industry that live in an unrealistic optimism. And they're never held accountable to anything. And they run around and they preach all this nonsense that never pans out. And it's not a good thing in a disrupted marketplace. Kodak, pay attention to reality. Focus on going out in the marketplace and selling your machines. And folks, I'll be honest with you. I'm not a big Communist Chinese Party fan by any stretch of the imagination. You saw me beating the crap out of 9-Star over these last few years. But what I have a problem is when Kodak is so in bed with China themselves to start calling foul on China to Fujifilm. I think it's a little bit nutty. Just some things to think about. And I hope this intervention between Xerox and Fujifilm pays off. Because I really want the industry to be successful. Because everybody watching me knows this. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck there, and I'll see you.